Have you ever doubted yourself or wished someone told you what you need to do next or what path to follow? I remember such a time and the anguish that came with it, along with the fear of disappointing, needing others' approval, afraid to step out, clinging onto certain things, fear of losing, and no one was telling me what to do. And in hindsight, actually, that was very good because it forced me to kind of figure that out on my own. Can you relate to that? So far, my observation is that this is such a shared human experience. And in this context, I remember I came across this curious title. It was a short video. Advice millionaires would give to their younger self. Great. I needed some advice. And millionaires is a bit of a buzzword out there now. But if we were to take it as a symbol of successful people who, besides their millions, are also happy and fulfilled in life, which would be what real success is, and which often is not the case. But for the sake of this conversation, people who achieved something in life and were successful and fulfilled, what would that advice be? Here's what they said. I would have gone into sales. I would do things that build confidence. And I would remember that everyone puts their pants the same way in the morning. That is true. I thought about it. Curious. And as I work with people of all ages, from the teens fresh off the school benches to retired, there seems to be this recurring thing, the need to building self-esteem, confidence. It's as if this is never enough and somehow a life quest. Unfortunately, the way anyone is treated as a child has a great impact on their life and identity as adults. If one was criticized or overly corrected, one can end up insecure and afraid to aspire too much. Likewise, if you've been neglected and a parent wasn't there for you in a reassuring way, often that affects one's sense of worth and self-belief as well. All the subsequent similar experiences feed into those early ones and seem to amplify and cement them. Fortunately, one is able to build on the positive experiences as well. And with the advancement in psychotherapy and our understanding of the mind and emotions, you can even heal and repair those wounds and free the system to thrive. I've spoken of this in a previous video on healing. So taking all this, as I thought about what I would advise my younger self that would also benefit others, there are three things that resurface like recurring themes and needs, which are not much different than what the above millionaires would have told themselves. I see them as foundational plates or pillars for a confident and secure life. And here they are. First is knowing who you are and what you stand for, essentially your identity. When that happens, you will know what makes you you, what to pursue, where you need to grow, and have the freedom to actually go and do it. Second is how you relate to yourself. And this has to do with your mindset and emotion. And the key skills here is mastering your mindset and emotions, so you don't feel hurt and small and take things personally, thus undermining your confidence and what you are capable of becoming or achieving. In the description, I've added a link to a crash course in emotional mastery. Click it to get it. And third pillar is how you relate to others. And the key skills here are learning to set boundaries and learning to negotiate. All of these are interconnected, and one can and will in fact influence the other. How you view yourself will influence how you relate to yourself and others and how you lead your life. How you feel will affect your relationships with others and how you view yourself. And your relationships with others and how you're able to manage it will affect how you feel and what you believe about yourself. All of this influencing your ability to achieve your purpose and dreams, and eventually your success and happiness in life. In this video, I will focus mostly on the first pillar, the identity, because it influences everything else to a great degree. And I will go through the misconceptions around it and what it is at its core. So, the first foundational pillar is knowing who you are and what you stand for. Essentially, it will reflect how you see yourself, your identity. That is informed by a number of things: your background, family, culture, personality, your individuality, your experience, talents, and pains can also add a different color to your identity. One problem is that oftentimes we take in the opinion of others and adopt it as the truth about us. And if it's negative, it can be debilitating, seriously affecting one's view of themselves and life. This is a big mistake. The truth is, your view of yourself is more important than that of others. That of others should be secondary. In other words, having a good, positive opinion of yourself is key. And how do you do that? I will talk about it a bit later. Another problem and misconception about identity is that people often confuse identity with identification. They over-identify with a certain aspect of their individuality as the defining factor of who they are, such as gender, ethnicity, nationality, race, certain cause they stand for, etc. This often leads to inner and outer conflicts, as we witness today. And people also over-identify with a certain aspect of their lives. For example, their job, position, status, education or skill, even mental or health issues, or take relationship status. This often causes problems for two reasons: when not having it or when losing it. I don't have that degree, so I feel less or inferior. Or I'm not married and I don't have children. Something is wrong with me. I should by now. Or having it and then losing it. Because the moment that is lost one way or another, let's say someone loses a job or relationship, suddenly one feels threatened to the core, as if their sense of identity and worth is lost, and they start to question themselves and feel bad or insignificant or less. Here is the truth about your identity as a human being. At the core, each person has this inherent worth because we all are born with this divine essence, which is pure love and light and goodness. Have you noticed that in yourself? I have come across this truth first in a religious setting, but then I noticed that in people outside of it. Actually, all people have it. One thought that got stuck with me since reading some book many years ago was that the fundamental fear of people is that they are unworthy, and if they are unworthy, they will not be loved. But what I've learned later is that your worth, my worth, is inherent because of that divine essence, that image of God in which we were made. If you're not a believer in God, that still doesn't change this fact. IFS founder and therapist Richard Schwartz talks about the 8 C's, or characteristics of our core self, that he came across in individuals in clinical settings. This is characterized by compassion, courage, confidence, a sense of connectedness with others, curiosity, clarity, calmness, along with perseverance, presence, love, joy, kindness. The best part is that these qualities are not acquired. It's part of who you are, in the same way your DNA is. So first and foremost, identifying with your core identity is the best place to begin to understand who you are. This is a very crucial truth to take on board because it gives you the energy and drive to thrive and believe in yourself. It shields against any fallbacks. It's part of what constitutes actual resilience in the face of others' opinion and your own mistakes and failures in life. It is what makes you walk with dignity and strength and freedom, because everything you have acquired or not does not define you. There is also a humble tone to it because it's a given that you have not earned and that is shared by all humans. An important point is that this core identity of goodness often gets obscured by your own views of yourself based on how you act in the world. So it is not a small matter to conduct yourself with integrity and charity, so you will have a positive opinion and view of yourself. Around this core that is shared across humanity are the various aspects of personality and traits that make people unique and human, such as their sense of humor, quirkiness, way of being, intelligence, and also the whole array of emotions and tastes and the experiences that shape you and what you value and stand for in life. And that is discovered by boldly stepping out and daring to explore. So, this is the first foundational pillar for life. Know thyself and what you stand for, followed by mastering how you relate to yourself, mastering your emotions, and how you relate to the world and others, with skills such as learning to set transparent boundaries and negotiating from a place of abundance. All these are skills that I am building into a practical in-depth course just because they are so priceless and foundational for a happy life. So follow the link below to get early access to it and get the crash course on emotional mastery as well. I'm curious to hear your view, so please leave a comment. As always, take care of yourself. Take care.